The first thing Olivia Mercer noticed on her first day at Hartwell Technologies was not the breathtaking glass office overlooking downtown Chicago, Illinois, or the polished marble floors where executives hurried past with expensive coffee in their hands. It was the laughter behind her. Someone had spilled a cup of coffee across her plain blouse, and before she could even reach for a napkin, 3 employees were already whispering that the new intern looked like she had wandered into the wrong building. What they did not know was that Olivia had designed the company they worked for, had built it from a tiny rented office into a multi-million-dollar business, and had deliberately walked through those doors wearing inexpensive clothes so she could discover what her employees really thought of the people beneath them. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, compassion, hope, forgiveness, and second chances can change someone's life, please take a moment to like this story, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these stories reach people who still believe that one good person can make a difference. Olivia had spent 10 years building Hartwell Technologies, but success had made her increasingly uncomfortable with the distance between herself and the people who worked there. Reports always showed happy employees, efficient managers, and perfect workplace culture. Yet Olivia had begun receiving anonymous messages describing humiliation, favoritism, and employees being ignored when they needed help. So she made a decision few CEOs would ever make. She would enter her own company as an ordinary intern named Olivia Reed and spend 2 weeks seeing the truth for herself. She expected awkwardness. She did not expect cruelty. By lunchtime, the treatment had become worse. A young supervisor named Rachel Dawson mocked Olivia for asking where the employee kitchen was and loudly announced that interns were supposed to be useful, not needy. Another employee deliberately placed a stack of heavy folders on Olivia's desk and told her to carry them across the building alone. Olivia tried to remain calm, reminding herself that she had come to observe, not retaliate. But when someone laughed at her worn shoes and said people like her should be grateful just to have a job, something inside her quietly cracked. She had spent years creating opportunities for people, yet the people representing her company were making another human being feel worthless. Then Marcus Bennett noticed her. Marcus was a 38-year-old father who worked in the facilities department. He had lost his wife several years earlier and was raising his 8-year-old daughter, Grace, while working long hours to keep their small apartment in Chicago. Marcus was not important by corporate standards. He had no corner office, no executive title, and no expensive suit. But he had something Olivia had almost forgotten existed in her own company: courage without an audience. He walked over when he saw Olivia struggling with the folders and quietly took half of them. He did not ask whether she was an intern or whether she deserved help. He simply helped because she needed it. When Rachel made another sarcastic remark, Marcus calmly reminded everyone that being new did not make someone less deserving of respect. The room became strangely quiet. Olivia looked at him with tears threatening to appear, because nobody had defended her all morning. Marcus then did something even more meaningful. He invited Olivia to sit with him during lunch because he noticed she had been eating alone. He shared half of his sandwich and talked about his daughter, Grace, who had recently drawn a picture of a house with 3 windows and written beneath it, "Home is where someone waits for you." Marcus admitted that some days were difficult, but Grace reminded him that kindness mattered most when nobody was watching. Those words stayed with Olivia. Over the next several days, Marcus continued treating her like a human being rather than an intern. He showed her where supplies were kept, helped her understand the confusing office procedures, and even apologized when someone else treated her poorly, though he had nothing to apologize for. Meanwhile, Olivia quietly documented everything she saw. She discovered that some employees were afraid to speak because certain supervisors humiliated them behind closed doors. She also learned that Marcus had repeatedly recommended improvements to the company but had never received a response. On Friday afternoon, the entire company was called into the main conference room. Everyone expected an ordinary quarterly announcement. Marcus arrived late because he had been helping a delivery worker with a broken cart. He stood near the back, unaware that Olivia was walking toward the front of the room. Then she stopped. She removed her simple employee badge and placed it on the table. The room fell silent when the screen behind her displayed her photograph beneath the words, Olivia Mercer, Founder and Chief Executive Officer. Rachel's face went pale. The employees who had laughed earlier suddenly stared at the floor. But Olivia did not humiliate them. Instead, she explained why she had come undercover. She said the most valuable lesson of the week was not about profits, efficiency, or productivity. It was about Marcus. She announced that Marcus would become the company's new employee relations director, giving him the authority to help create a workplace where every person, regardless of position, would be treated with dignity. She also announced a new scholarship and support program for employees raising children alone, inspired by Marcus and Grace. Marcus stood speechless, tears filling his eyes. He had defended an intern because it was the right thing to do, never imagining that his simple kindness would change his own family's future. Later that evening, Olivia visited Marcus and Grace at their modest apartment. Grace proudly showed her the drawing about home. Olivia smiled and told the little girl that her father had reminded an entire company what home should feel like: safe, respected, and cared for. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still matters, and subscribe for more stories about hope, courage, and second chances. And before the story ends, leave a comment telling us this: would you have defended Olivia if you thought she was only an ordinary intern? Olivia never forgot Marcus's courage, and Marcus never forgot the woman he once thought was simply a nervous intern. Their lives changed because one person chose not to look away. Sometimes the greatest heroes are not the people sitting behind the biggest desks. Sometimes they are the ones standing quietly in the back of the room, choosing kindness when nobody is watching.